shadow. So it was still really cool, and there's dew on the grass where the shadow was, and the sun on the other side. You know, that it was still moving real slow, the sun. And there were two flowers, identical flowers. One was just right on the other side of the sun, you know, where it was still in the shadows. And then the other one was in the sun. And they're identical flowers. And the one that was in the sun, you know, was opened up. And I know you guys understand what I'm saying here. And the one that was in the shadows, you know, it was still closed. It was still cold. It wasn't feeling the warmth or anything like that. And my daughter thought it was so neat, and it really brought my attention to it. But it wasn't until the flower that was blooming or exposed or opened up, it wasn't until the sun, you know, it wasn't until it was feeling the warmth of the sun. So I thought, if I went up to that flower that was still closed and said, you got to open up, seriously, because as soon as you open up, you know, the nutrients from the ground are going to come up, you're going to be able to absorb the water, you know, whatever the case may be. It wouldn't open up for that. It wouldn't open up until the sun made it feel its warmth on it. And that's how we operate too, you know, instinctively, actually. It's not until we feel something. So it's so important that we think before we speak to our customers. Okay, is what I'm saying, or even when you're posting on Facebook or social media and stuff, you want it to be emotional. You want it to tie into somebody's right brain, something that it's connected emotionally, or they're feeling it through their brain or through their heart. So I've got to skip over some video that I had. Okay, so when somebody asks me, how much is it? I'll tell them, you know what, that's a great question. And I'm going to answer that question. But just so you know, before I do, I got to get some information from you. Because if I don't, it would be just like you walking into a car dealership and walking up to a salesperson and saying, how much is a vehicle? He's not going to be able to give you an accurate price until he knows, you know, what you want to buy or why you need to buy that. And I'll literally say that to the customer, and it kind of, you know, oh, okay, that makes sense. So first I want to kind of understand why, not why, but what it is that you would like to achieve if you were to purchase PiYo. Like, how many pounds would you like to lose? How many inches would you like to lose? And I'll spell it out. I mean, I'll ask them directly. And then I'll tell them, okay, so you want to lose 35 pounds, that's fantastic. Now this is the most important part, you know, that I need to know, but you'll also need to know. Why do you want to lose the 35 pounds? And this is where I'll come in and tell them another story. And I'll relate, I'll tell them, I go, before you answer this, I want you to think about your why, because it's going to be very important. And how I look at my why is, and some of you might have heard this story from Doug Fitzgerald, the founding coach, is if I was driving home from work and I'm pulling into my neighborhood and I see my house is engulfed in flames, there's firemen, there's police officers all running all about and stuff, and I jump out and I'm running up, firemen stop me and they say, Carson, hey, look, your family's right here, your kids are okay, your dogs are okay, your cats are okay, your chickens are okay. we live in the zoo. But everything was okay. I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm not going to think, oh, my laptop's in there. I better run in for my laptop. You know, that's not a powerful enough reason for me to go running into a burning house. Stepping back a little bit, I pull up, firemen stop me, say, listen, person, here's your family. They're safe right here. We couldn't get your youngest daughter, though. She's still in there. I mean, he wouldn't even have to finish his story. He wouldn't have to finish his sentence at all before I'm sprinting in there without even thinking twice. That's why it's so important for me to understand why you want this so bad. Because as a coach, my goal is to help remind you why you want this so that you reach that goal of 35 pounds. That really puts another perspective on it, and you can tell just by, you know, that story alone. That's why I really like it. It's very powerful, actually. that it was hopefully tickling that right side of your brain. And it does the same thing with them when they're thinking, wow, okay, I understand that. I guess I have to have a powerful why, because if I don't have a powerful why, then it's going to be really hard for me to accomplish those goals. So using stories like that, it's so important, because facts tell, but stories sell. You really want to come up with stories that you're able to share just right off the cusp with the customers, because you're going to have different customers and they're going to have different needs and wants, and you want to have enough stories in your repertoire to be able to draw upon them when you need them and share with the customer, instead of just coming up with facts. Because I've done that before, especially when I first started. I would do posts on Facebook. I'd be like, Shakeology is a powerful superfood formula designed to give your body the perfect combination. It doesn't work. You know, crickets, 0 likes. You're like, an hour later, you go check your Facebook post, and there's 1 like, and it's your wife. But if you're able to tell a story, you know, and draw out emotion, be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. It's one of the hardest things to do. You know, it took me, it was the first time I shared my story in front of a big group. You know, I've shared it for a while now through Facebook and stuff, but it's very powerful to be vulnerable, and it really does draw upon, you know, the right brain and the heart, the emotions and stuff. So it's so very important to have stories, you know, that they can relate to. And there's 3 types of stories that are good for, you know, your arsenal. The personal story. Personal stories are kind of like an aha moment. For example, when I first started Beachbody, it was a challenge pack, Insanity Challenge Pack. Chelsea and I decided to do it, and it was literally a month, you know, a month and a half into it. I'd already lost 15 pounds. I was feeling better than I've ever felt before, and we were following the meal planner to a T. Literally, we were following it to a T. I've never done that to this day. Besides that, I do pretty good, but never as much as I did that first round with Insanity. And every year we go to Sun Valley in June, and we started in May. And the year before, we were at the pool, and my kids, you know, they're hungry every 30 minutes, and they were, you know, pulling out their juices from the cooler, and Doritos, and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, because that was my favorite, and all sorts of goodies, right? Well, fast forward a year, a month and a half after starting Insanity, I literally think I was sitting in the exact same chair at the pool, watching my kids, and they were pulling out strawberries, they were pulling out water, they were pulling out raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, I mean, tons of berries. And carrot sticks. I know it's not as exciting and stuff, but I had this huge aha moment watching my kids eat those food. I mean, it was so weird, this flashback I had to the year before when they're pulling out Doritos, and they're pulling out, you know, juices that are just so filled with preservatives and sugars and all of that kind of stuff. And here they are drinking water and stuff. And it was a direct correlation, because my wife and I made a decision to make that change in our lives that we needed to make. And because of that decision, I know for a fact that my kids are going to learn and are learning the importance of nutrition. Not only learning it, but they're feeling it and understanding it. And that's kind of an aha moment right there. It's kind of how I'll share that actually with a customer. So whatever aha moment that you have, meet the guru. So kind of relate to when you were signing up and your coach was helping you understand the benefits, or pulling out your why, or anything like that. Try to get, you know, that formulated into a story. And this is really powerful. When you're talking to a customer and you feel it might be beneficial to bring in your upline coach, do this. Set up a 3-way call. The success rate it's crazy. I don't know the stats on it, but I think it's, every time we've done it, almost virtually every single time, that person signed up underneath our coach. When they do a three-way call with us and we have a conversation and they're able to ask us as, you know, the guru, the person that signed up, the person that's signing up them. So try to think back of what they did for you and then say, listen, when I was in your shoes, my coach, Susie, she actually, you know, went through something that is very similar to you. And she's been doing this for 3 years now, and she's a very successful coach, and has helped hundreds of people, and she always loves to talk to her customers and my customers. And, she's always told me that she would love to set up three-way calls and stuff, and she does it with people who have questions, and I think it'd be very beneficial for you to do so. So if you can have a story that relates to that, I would do that. It's really powerful. It really is a tool to use. The hypothetical question and stories, and then I'm going to have to end it, but the hypothetical, I like this one, because I'll ask the person directly and say, listen, before you know the price or anything, it depends on the person when I say this, who cares about the price right now? Let's not talk about the price. You're not getting a box of DVDs and a bag of powder for whatever price you pay to get this stuff. What you actually are investing in is a couple months down the road, when you actually hit that 35 pounds, let's say even 20 pounds before you hit the 30 pounds, 35 pounds. And so hypothetically, you get the PIO program, you go through my challenge group, and you're already at 20 pounds lost, and you're walking through work to lunch, and one of your coworkers stops you and says, hey, Jane, I just have to ask, what are you doing? You look fantastic. You've lost a lot of weight, I can tell, and stuff. What are you doing? And then I'll say, I want you to put yourself in that situation. How are you going to feel when that happens? Because it will happen. How are you going to feel? You know, or when you're at a family gathering and your family just keeps saying, oh, you look so fantastic. Tell me what you're doing. I want to do it. And you start talking about the nutrition side of things and what you're doing with your nutrition, and you get all excited and you're sharing that with your family, because that's going to happen. I promise that's going to happen. How are you going to feel in that moment? And I don't tell them, tell me literally how you're going to feel. That's when I say that is what you're actually investing your money into. You're not investing your money into a box of DVDs and a bag of powder. So hypothetically, put yourself into a situation 2 months down the road. That's a hypothetical situation or hypothetical question story. But last but not least, the trust yourself. You really are a guru. You might not feel like it, but all the customers that call you, reach out to you, they think that you're a professional. They believe that you're a professional, and they believe that you know exactly what you're talking about. You are, though. Just realize that you are. Even if you're a coach that signed up Tuesday, where were you? There you go. Don't think about that. Don't think I'm a newbie. Think about the team that you have behind you. You've got your upline. You've got all of us. This is a great place to network. You have so many resources to pull from, to where, hey, listen, I've been doing this for just a little bit of time, and I'm doing this program, and it's so fantastic. So whatever question that you have I don't know the answer to, I promise you I'm going to get that answer. I've been doing this for a little over 2 years, and I still don't know a lot of things. My customers don't think that. And if they do ask me something, I will tell them directly, hey, listen, you know what? I've never come across that. I don't know the answer to that. But I'm going to get the answer to you today. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get right back to you today.